Hi everyone, welcome to the farm. I have got a booger of a task today because my chickens have lice. Now this is not the same kind of lice that affects our human head, but it does affect my flock, and I've got a booger of a task because not only do I have to treat the chickens, but I have to treat their entire coop, which is literally this entire barn. Yay me. Let me get set up and then we'll talk about this whole process. Unfortunately, lice and mites are one of those things that you cannot leave untreated. It is a parasite and it deals with a lot of blood sucking, and so what is happening is they are becoming severely anemic. So one of the things that I noticed right off the bat with one chicken in particular, she's my salmon favorelle, was that her neck feathers, her hackles right here, they just looked wet, and she is preening all the time. She is over grooming, and that means that she's probably uncomfortable. Her vent area, the vent is where they poop from, the egg comes out all the same hole, is also very, very messy, which is unusual for her because she's not like a messy pooper. And then she also just seems a lot less energetic, and she is not laying as many eggs. So with all the anemia that is happening in her body, she is just very uncomfortable. She has no energy. She has less energy to put forth for egg laying and that kind of stuff. So I'll show you the video that I took yesterday of what it looked like when I was trying to discover what was going on. And I think that we're dealing with lice rather than mites, although I would really treat both the same way. I think I caught it early because usually with a lice infestation, when you open up their feathers and you get down close to the skin, you can see a ton of these white, they look like white puffy, I don't know how to describe it. It's eggs. It's so gross. It's like huge little pockets of eggs that are laid on the shaft of their feather. And so I didn't see any of that. So hopefully that means that I caught this quite early. And so all I need to do now is I'm going to give them a soak treatment just for immediate relief. And then I'm going to also apply some permitherin to them very carefully. And then I have to treat the entire barn as well as anything out here where I would consider their run. So let's get a couple things ready. Let me go find my permitherin. All right, so here is my salmon faverelle. And do you see how her tuft and her muff look so wet? She's like, yes, please scratch those itchy lice. When I separate her feathers here, I can see that the shaft is inflamed. She is a little bit colorless and pale down in here. But the main thing that I notice is how many broken shafts there are. I was not expecting her to respond this well to sitting in water, but it makes me glad for all the time I spend handling them and earning some trust with them. Feeding them by hand is certainly very helpful. So I'm just separating out her feathers here to make sure that this soapy water is really penetrating to every shaft. She does need to be rinsed off in a clean bucket after this, because that soap is going to dry out her skin, and I did put a lot in here. I've got my rooster. I've got my rooster right behind me, and I'm a little nervous because in the past, when I've had to treat my hens, I have been attacked by the rooster we had at the time, who did not like me giving injections or treating bumblefoot or whatever I had to do. But he seems pretty chill, which makes me really happy. He is he's my Americana. Whoa! She looks pre-plucked. All right, she's been soaked, and now she's been dried off, and I can see some remaining lice, but they are immobile. They're dead. And now I can really take stock of how much damage they did. Look at how naked she is through here. So I'm gonna get a towel and wrap her up and try to get her to warm up a bit. All right, here I have one of my black Americanas, and she's actually missing a toe. Well, missing the nail, which I find interesting, but she's okay. Now, I was just inspecting all the birds and I found the telltale signs of lice because I can see them collected, the eggs collected. Let me turn the camera around. Right, let's see, right in here. It's so hard to film by myself. All right, here we have a few broken shafts, but also we can see a collection of white. There, can you see that? Is that showing up on the camera? These little collections of white things at the base of the shaft, right there where the feather grows out. I called it hair. These are lice eggs. And so this Americana has almost no signs of it. She doesn't have wet looking feathers except right here on her muffs. And her vent area is clean. And she's not looking terribly anemic, although I would love to see a redder comb than this. But I am gonna go ahead and pop her in the bath and we're gonna start killing these lice. What's interesting is usually when I open up the, did you see that? Usually when I open up the wing right here, I can see a ton of lice eggs, but they are mostly around her head. So into the tub she goes. What do you think? What do you think of water? That's not your favorite, huh? Can you trust me through this process though? Let me get you soaking in here. I'll tell you, having a tub that is narrow but tall is super helpful. Let me see if I can squat her down in here just a bit more. Okay, no, she's not about the squatting. That's okay. This is not supposed to be that white. That right there. Holy grossness. This is another reason that the spray of Permitherin and then also Elector PSP when it finally comes will be important, because there's only so much soap I can put on her head without worrying about it getting in her eyes. So I can apply that spray without having to worry about rinsing it off. What a good bird. She's kind of shutting down. She's like, this is a lot for me. I know. Hi, kitty. Are you coming to check on the birds? Not too long ago, I did a video on the items you should keep on hand if you raise chickens, and I did not have Elector PSP on there. I don't think I did. But anyhow, even if I did, what a huge miss, because if I had it on hand, I wouldn't have to do 3 different treatments. I could just spray the Elector PSP and be done with it. But because I'm sitting here having to wait for it, I kind of have to put in a stopgap or 2 just to make them more comfortable. Birds will die from anemia, and I don't know how long they've had lice because I've just now noticed the signs. But it's one of those things that, like, if you don't deal with it a lot, you kind of think it's just never going to happen to you. But we've never had to treat the birds for parasites before. All right, my friend, we can rinse you off now. And yes, I know this tail is showing some awfully beautiful sickle feathers. I'm in denial that this is a rooster, so just leave me alone. Let's rinse her off. Well, this is gonna be fun. This is my big, beautiful rooster. This is Andy Griffith. He's the sheriff in this town. And although I don't see that many signs of lice on him, I still notice, look how wet these feathers look. That's a telltale sign. And I really do not want to lose him. He is my breeder. He is a darling rooster. And when I find one like this, I will pay a vet bill to take care of him. I only need one good rooster for what we're doing out here. And you are so tall. Holy cow. How am I supposed to do this, dude? He is a Splash Americana, by the way, if you're wondering what he is. And he makes some beautiful babies with my salmon faverels. It's a really cool mixture. Now, I mean, technically you could call them an Easter egger, because this hybrid is not recognized as an official breed, but the salmon favorel and Americana cross is called the favicana, and they lay the most beautiful green eggs. So like I said, a lot of people are going to call it an Easter egger, and that's fine, but I would love to see the day when the favicana is a standard breed that's recognized, because it is the best of so many kinds of worlds. The Americanas are beautiful, they're curious, they're friendly, they are very savvy of the world around them. They do well either in the coop or free ranging. They've got great personalities. They are curious and they're friendly. And the salmon favorel is also all of those things, but the salmon favorel is a really fun, ooh, lice everywhere, buddy. The salmon favorel is a really fun chicken because they are so curious and talkative, and it just makes them one of the most fun breeds to watch. Whoops. So the favicana is definitely a favorite of mine. Buddy, I can barely get you in this water. Should have filled this all the way up for you. I just want to make sure. There's not that many eggs laid on him. Oh, I'm a liar. Holy cow, poor thing. But if you'll notice, his comb is nice and red. His wattles are red. His eyes are very clear looking. So he's not in danger of anemia at this point like the girls are. This is a very big challenge for me. I know, I'm sorry. Are you gonna hate me after this? Please don't let this change our relationship. I can tell right now, rinsing you off is gonna be a chore. Okay, one last dunk. Look at those feet. Watcha. Good boy. Oh, what an angel. Back again. This is a favicana. You saw my salmon favorel earlier, and she was a beautiful wheaten color. This is a similar coloring. She has darker colors though, coming from the Americana. So she lays blue eggs. She has almost zero signs. Woo! Mama! I did not think that you would be the scaredy one. She has a few signs of lice, but not nearly as much as everybody else, which makes me think I've definitely caught it early in the flock. I give her a little dip. Oh, baby! No, I'm soaking wet! Okay, well, I'm soaking wet and exhausted. That phase is over. I don't bother to show it all on camera because honestly, it gets boring. You've seen one chicken get a bath, you've seen them all get a bath. Oh, that's not the right one. Where's the fill line? Right there. Let's go treat the coop. So I'm ready for the summer humidity to be gone. Let's see if I can get him to straight. All right, as you can see, we've got a large space in here. Now, normally their coop is right over here. This enclosed area over here. But our Sultan, Jasmine, sat on some eggs and she hatched out 4 babies. The rest got put in the incubator because it was a staggered hatch and she abandoned the nest, and all but 2 have hatched. So her and her babies are in here. She killed a chicken, y'all, because another chicken, a juvenile, had gotten in there and it just got too close to her babies Like when I tell you she scalped this chicken. A little tiny sultan, this is the size of a silkie. It was horrific to find. So anyway, everybody's moved away for their own safety because apparently she's a murder chicken now. And so I would normally just have to spray this because this is where they rest at night, and then they free range all over the 10 acres during the day, unless we're having like predator problems. But at night the chickens are in here and they are roosting up in those rafters up there. And so I've got a larger space than normal because of a broody mama. So here I go, I'm gonna get started. Should have asked for some friends to come do this with me. This is boring. Oh, I'm gonna put on some music and dance a little bit. That's all the permitherin that I have, and so I'm gonna run back to the store. But you know, I think I'm gonna use my neighbor's backpack sprayer so that I can be a lot more efficient, because the spray on this is not quite a steady stream like I would like it to be, and I really want to get into the rafters and into the wood and everywhere that they can live. The other thing I'm gonna do is make a correct concentrate, not such a strong concentrate as you just saw, to be able to put on the back of their necks. Here's my tip. Put any type of topical medication on your chickens at night when they're roosting, because they're so calm. Their vision isn't quite as clear at night, and so they hear your voice, they know it's you. And I've been able to apply like eye ointment, feet ointment, all kinds of stuff at night when they're already up roosting and kind of sleepy. So after I finish spraying the entire barn, I am also going to wait and let it dry out for a couple days, and I'm going to apply First Saturday Lime. First Saturday Lime is a great addition to any coop area or to any run wild area that they populate a lot, just because lime helps to inhibit the growth of bacteria, but it also is an inhabitable area for your parasites. And so adding lime to your coop not only will absorb the ammonia and deal with bacteria, but it can also make it a place where your parasites just simply cannot live anymore. And so I'm going to be adding that to the coop, and I'm also going to be waiting for the Elector PSP to come in the mail. I've ordered it. It is so expensive. I'll use its concentrate, and then that will be that will seal the deal. That will be one and done, and then I don't have to worry about the lice coming back at least for a while. So we've been raising chickens for 2 years now, and so we haven't had lice yet. So it's kind of nice that I have not had to deal with it until now. We've had other problems. Did you see the mycoplasma video? That was awful. So anyhow, all is good. The chickens are warming up in the sun and drying off. I'm gonna hold one. She looks really pitiful. She's the one that had lice the worst. I'm gonna get her in a towel and sit on the front porch with her. That's all for today's video. So hopefully this helps you. If you have lice in your chickens and you don't know what to do, of course my advice would be just to skip the Dawn dish soap bath and the permitherin and just use Elector PSP. But you need to have it on hand for that to work. So do better than I did. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye. Cat, you want to be in the video? I swear, I keep thinking of one more thing to say. Like I said earlier, poultry lice are not going to inhabit us like human head lice will, but they can make you really uncomfortable. And so thank goodness I live in the country, because what I'm going to do is remove my clothes outside and then burn them. I'm just kidding. I am going to ball them up really tight and throw them straight into the washing machine that's waiting, just because they can be a skin irritant for you, although they're not going to infest you like they do. So just keep that in mind. And the shoes are going to stay outside. Usually the shoes that go in and out of the coop, I have a little bleach foot bath that all of my shoes step in, just for biosecurity. So I'm going to do that a little bit deeper this time, or maybe I'm just going to give them a good spray down to make sure I get all of them. But anyway, I need to run and hop in the shower because I feel itchy, and it's probably in my head, but I still feel itchy. So here I go.